A very good afternoon to you on the 11th of May, the year 2023. Thank you so much for choosing us. This is indeed Lunchtime News. I am Nissie, Imani, and Brian Muraru is our sign language interpreter this afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. Now we open up this live broadcast with a link from my colleague Kevin Washira, who is going to be updating us on the Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia Borderlands project. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Nissie. We are live here in Mandera County, where Kenya government, the government of Somalia and the government of Ethiopia have come together to agree on modalities of how to secure this region. The project is known as Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia Borderlands project, which aims at maintaining peace and stability as a prerequisite of business in this region. And now today, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was officiated the meeting today, which is a culmination of another meeting that happened yesterday in Nairobi, whereby CS Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, met with the Minister of Security from United Kingdom to deliberate on how to secure the northern frontier and also to maintain stability in the three states, that is Kenya, Somalia and Ethiopia. And now today, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, officiated the meeting whereby all the stakeholders issued their commitment to this project, whereby they want to open up the borders so that they can build build peace, create stability, and also promote inter-ethnic socialization of communities in this area. You know very well that this area has been hostile, a lot of terrorist attacks, and also a lot of suffering, including drought and famine. And now the three governments are working together to see how they can improve the situation here. Also present was the CS Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who has said that the three states, the three governments now will have a sit down, and in the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks, they will come up with a clear action plan of how to actualize the project and how to maintain stability and peace in this area. You know very well that the Mandera County borders Ethiopia. It's like 3 kilometers from where I'm standing, the border of Ethiopia, and the border of Somalia is 2 kilometers from where I'm standing. And so this Mandera County is very crucial for this project, for it to function. And now what we are waiting to see is how the three governments now will come up with policies that will promote stability and peace so that we can have shared prosperity in this region. Now back to you, Nissie.
Thank you very much. That's Kevin Washira, who's just updating us on the Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia Borderlands project. This is aimed, of course, at promoting peace in the region, and Washira will give us a comprehensive update on that story in the course of the day. Now, moving on, Kajiado Governor Joseph Lenku and members of County Assembly allied to the United Democratic Alliance, UDA, have agreed to set their differences aside and work together for the welfare of the county. Lenku has said his re-election in August last year on an Orange Democratic Movement ticket been embroiled in a supremacy battle with the MCAs. This has derailed development projects in the region. Speaking during inspection of the deplorable state of Sky Blue Road that had sparked protests by members of the public, the governor and civic leaders concurred that time for politicking is over until 2027.
Watu wetu kile wanahitaji barabara, wanahitaji maji, wanahitaji ajira na mazingira mazuri ya kufanyia kazi. Nasikia kuna mahali ilifichwa gavana asione, kwa sababu ipo mbaya sana, imekuwa shamba, hata nasikia ndizi zimepandwa. So sambao na malika mumwage mara hapo ijae, you level it nicely, watu waende.
Ile kitu sasa wananchi wanataka kutoka kwetu ni kazi, ni maendeleo. Na Your Excellency, sisi tuko tayari kufanya kazi na wewe 100%.
Good afternoon, Kamche.
Well, a very good afternoon to you back in studio, Nissie, Imani. Like you said, we are here at the Bomas of Kenya this afternoon, where the bipartisan committee talks are actually going on, or rather ongoing. This is the second day for the committee to meet here at the Bomas of Kenya. Remember, this is the third meeting since the stalemate on the composition of the teams for both sides was resolved. And yesterday was the first meeting that was held here at the Bomas. We understand that this is where the bipartisan committee will be doing the talks, and the number of issues that yesterday were talked about and agreed upon. But remember, there is yet another issue that the committee is yet to agree on, and that is what will be happening today. The meeting started around 10 this morning, and we are 3 hours into the meeting, and they are yet to come out maybe to talk to the media. But we understand that what is currently being discussed is on the issue of the nature of the talks. The two sides, remember, there is the disagreement of the two sides on whether the talks will include extra parties, or rather external parties, or it will only be parliamentary. But of course, the co-chairs of the committee, that is Tharaka Member of Parliament George Murugara and his counterpart Rarieda Member of Parliament Otiende Amolo, say there are three issues that they will be looking at. The issue on whether the talks will only be parliamentary, or there will be an executive order, they'll go by the executive order, or that they will include talks not parliamentary or executive order, but one that involves the public, that which they call as sui generis, that does not involve the executive order or parliamentary. And those are the three options that they are currently considering. We are yet to understand on which one they will agree on, but remember, the Azimio side has been pushing for external parties to be enjoined in the talks. So whether that will be agreed upon, we shall come to understand on it by the end of the day, or by the close of the talks this afternoon. But yesterday, a number of issues were raised from both parties. On the issues that will be discussed, both parties saying that they have agreed on the issues that both sides have raised. Azimio bringing on board the cost of living, the 2022 presidential poll server. There's also the reforms at IEBC, as well as independence of the political parties, as well as fine-tuning the constitution. Those are some of the 5 issues that Azimio side tabled yesterday, while the committee sat to agree on the issues that will be discussed on the table when they meet. Kenya Kwanza had their issues as IEBC selection panel. Remember, there is a selection panel that was already set, and actually the jobs advertised, and even the deadline came, and it was all closed down, and actually what was remaining was to kick off the interviews, but there is no such proceedings at the moment because of what is happening now. So IEBC selection panel is part of what Kenya Kwanza is actually looking to talk, or rather to bring on the table when the talks kick off. The 2/3 gender rule principle, there is the NGCDF, that is the National Government Constitutional Development Fund, various funds, also Senate Oversight Fund, the leader of the opposition office, as well as amendment to Article 37. Those are issues that were agreed upon yesterday, but this afternoon, before the talks officially kick off, is that they will have to agree on the nature of the talk. Will it involve external parties? Will it just be parliamentary, or will they just go to the public and see what the public has to say? So we are here 3 hours into the talks this morning, and once they have agreed, or whatever it is that they will have resolved, then they'll come out and talk to the media, and we will understand. But of course, once they agree on the nature of the talks, then now the talks can officially begin. If they don't agree, then of course we will see what way forward they will be taking. And remember, the talks, they have agreed that the crucial issues take 30 days, while the other issues take 60 days. So basically that's it, Nissie. From here, I'll hand it back to you in studio.
Andy, thank you. That is Camp Chairman, and she's just giving us an update on the bipartisan talks. She'll be pitching her tent there to give us what the committee will resolve on the issues that have been tabled and raised by these two parties. Staying with the political news, we also are following up on the Jubilee Party press conference that is currently ongoing. Let's take a look.
Now Karen, wasugumzie mambo ya cabinet na vile watatoa Ruto. Kwa sababu yeye ndio deputy president. You are a deputy and you only do what has been assigned by you, by whoever is holding the seat, mpaka siku yenye utapatiwa hiyo kiti. Vice Chair.
Asante Secretary General. Good afternoon. I think he has said it all. The status currently is that we're going full steam ahead with our preparations for the National Delegate Conference called by the party leader on the 22nd of May at the Bomas of Kenya. Who you see here as chairs of the branches from all over the country is an organ which is actually like the National Governing Council. But the highest organ of this party is the National Delegate Conference. This is the meeting when the tribunal said, go back and resolve your issues, internal disputes. The party leader called a NEC meeting. And at that meeting, we decided, musema kweli ni delegates. Delegates akuja amu. Delegates wale walichagua hawa watu. Wao, kama wewe unataka kiti, uende kwa hiyo delegate conference, useme unataka nini? Hawa watu wakuchague. But you cannot impose yourself by what the SG is calling holding conferences in the street. Hata hapa juzi walifanyia kwa street. Mliona hiyo? Ingine in the bush. Nasikia walikuwa Lake Naivasha.
We will be giving you an update on that Jubilee press conference that is currently ongoing. But for now, let's move on to some of the other stories that we had prepared for you in this bulletin. Governors in the Lake Region Economic Bloc have resolved to digitize their county operations for efficiency and effective service delivery. This as the county governments reel under pressure from the National Treasury to remit their set revenue targets.
The chairman of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, Kisumu County Governor Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, has noted that the new technology acquired courtesy of a partnership with Safaricom will be utilized in revenue collection, personnel, resource and equipment management.
Counties of Lake Region Economic Bloc, the 14 of us, so that we can use the technology provided by Safaricom in doing various things in our counties, like revenue collection, personnel management, managing our resources, the equipment like transportation and so on.
His Bungoma counterpart Kenneth Lusaka said the digitization is meant to minimize corruption by limiting human contact with public funds.
What we are doing as counties is to improve on efficiency and effectiveness in our counties. We want to minimize cases of corruption, especially in the health sector, revenue collection, and also want to use efficiently and effectively the revenue that we are getting from the shareable revenue and on-source revenue. So we want to minimize human contact with money because that is where corruption takes place.
Safaricom Company Director of Customer Obsession Lucy Laveva stated that the technology will protect the county government's data even as they work to strengthen their operations.
Safaricom is co-creating a partnership with the counties and national government to drive transparency, increase the quality of services, effective communication intra-government in terms of the solutions that will allow for sustainable long-term future that persists generations.
Residents of the Lake Region Economic Bloc have been assured of improved services. Tilio Marco for Lunchtime News.
A section of education stakeholders in Narok County is citing technology as an enabler to the rampant cases of drug abuse and substance abuse among youth in the country. Led by Liz Ntutu, Director, Narok County Academy, they say parents should take keen interest in content accessed by their children on digital devices such as mobile phones and computers. This as schools heads were urged to include counseling sessions for learners.
If children are allowed to use technology in anyhow, without guidance and without them being told the effects of whatever they are able to access from this technology, then we end up losing a lot of children to so many other bad behavior and bad things. Our children especially pick so many bad vices, like I said. We have drug issues, we have cultic issues, we have the LGBTQ. So once they join this social platform, they find these to be activities that are of high class, and they would think maybe they would, access or get more money. Advise our parents to make time to be with their children, to spend time with their children, because for sure a lot of parents find themselves with very busy schedules, and we make very limited time to be with our children. So we advise them to at least make some time and be with the children. So that they're able to counsel their children, they're able to play with their children.
The Swedish government says it will upscale the 10 billion shilling program that seeks to reduce poverty, improve living conditions and strengthen skills among rural communities in Nakuru and Narok counties. Since 2018, the Swedish government partners and the two county governments have supported members of the Maasai communities living in Suswa and Lapland on various fronts. The project that mainly targets women and youth has seen the community benefit from entrepreneurship skills, provision of water and enhancing capacity, among others.
The governments, and there is also a will and interest from the government of Kenya, of course, to scale up this project to enable more people to get the right skills, the right education, to be able to enter the labor force within the private sector.
The project has been targeting the two counties, Nakuru and Narok, specific communities, Laplands for Nakuru and Suswa for Narok County. And there are many villages, about 13 villages in Narok County on the Suswa part, and the Lapland village, which is basically a settlement. So now they are
Elsewhere, at least 1,000 school children from needy households in Isiolo County have benefited from donations of sleeping kits courtesy of MySpace Foundation, the Rotary Club and Canadian charity organization Sleeping Children Around the World. MySpace Properties CEO Mwenda Thuranira says the donation will help the children sleep well at night and enable them concentrate in school during the day. Isiolo County Director of Education Caroline Mugo, in welcoming the donation, said the county is keen on partnering with like-minded organizations to improve education standards in the region.
Tushirikiane kama watu wanapenda binadamu wenzao, ndio tuweze kusaidiana na kusonga mbele kama jamii kwa pamoja.
Out of the 47 counties, these people are giving these kits in Nairobi and Isiolo. And therefore, Isiolo, we are favored, we are blessed, and we are going to give back by making sure that we improve on our performance. We work very hard as education stakeholders and make sure that we assist these children despite the difficulties they are facing.
Sleeping Children Around the World is the program. This is our second distribution on this trip. We were up in Masai Mara 2 days ago, and tomorrow we go back and do, I think, 5 or 6 more distributions around Nairobi.
When you look at the poverty index in Isiolo, it's very high. And the situation when it comes to at the household level, it's very bad. When we had the drought emergency recently, we had over 50% of our children dropping out of school because they are not able to afford meals. So if they are not able to afford a basic meal, it means that they are not able to get good sleeping equipment. So with this, they are able to get a good sleeping equipment.
And Kenyan filmmakers can now expect to pay up to 15% less for their production and distribution licenses if a review of the regulations guiding film classifications is successful. The Kenya Film Classification Board says the move seeks to empower the local film industry.
At a public participation forum in Embu County to discuss the new regulations, Kenya Film Classification Board Chief Executive Officer Christopher Wambua said a reduction of licensing will create a conducive environment for the growth of creative arts.
Broadcasters and commercial streamers of film services will be allowed to self-classify content that is meant to be either broadcast or distributed through their respective platforms.
Proposals to improve the sector include provision for content creators and distributors to classify their own content without reference to the board.
This is meant to promote the ease of doing business in the sector, so that broadcasters do not submit content to the board for classification.
KFCB also seeks to introduce a new classification grade, parental guidance PG-13, and to add to the current general exhibition PG-10, PG-16, and PG-18. Supreme Council of Kenya Muslim Representative Sheikh Ramadan Juguna challenged local filmmakers to use film to tackle social problems.
Na tunasema watoto wetu wanakosa maadili. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali hawa wasanii wapewe nafasi, watengeze content zingine.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Moving on, controversial preacher Eliud Wekesa Simiyu, alias Yesu Watongaren, is being held at the Bungoma Law Court cells, awaiting arraignment. According to the charge sheet, Wekesa will answer to 5 charges of radicalization, money laundering, acquisition, possession or use of proceeds to crime, managing unlawful society, and writing or uttering words with intent to wound religious feelings, contrary to Section 138 of the Penal Code. The accused was earlier on at the county police headquarters in the company of his followers before proceeding to the law courts where he is currently being held. The county police commander, Francis Colley, says the court will give direction on the next course of action.
Is what will guide the police action, and also the prosecutor clearly to present before court. And if there is anything tangible, then we have nothing to do with our brother here.
Si vibaya kuingia huku. Siwezi onea hawa maafisa ubaya wote. Maana kujua jambo ni kuzuri.
And overseas, thousands of couples converged in Seoul, South Korea, to rededicate their marriages and encourage the upholding of peace and harmonious living to create lasting unions. The annual event, held under the umbrella of Universal Peace Federation, also witnessed the 63rd wedding anniversary of UPFS co-founder Hak Jahan Moon. Leaders at the ceremony reiterated the need to unite families to end global conflict and human suffering.
I will now introduce my beautiful...
It is time for our first break, but don't go too far. We'll be back with more.
Kupata sikiza tune hii ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Aje umefanya vizuri sana kunifikia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke, handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huku kwetu mke ndiye kibeti.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
Hey, Buda. Umekama na mazawadi za mafanse? Wachana na hizi. Nataka nikuambia kwamba Dunda ndio hivyo tena imerejea ndani ya KBC Channel 1 kuanzia Ijumaa hii, itakuwa ndani. Au niaje bro?
Nakwambia maswala, michakato, habari, mitazamo, mahojiano na masuala yote ya sport unayopokea moja kwa moja kutoka Dunda Dunda ndani ya KBC Channel 1 kila siku ya Ijumaa.
Viwanjani. Na ndio sababu nakufahamisha kwamba mtu wangu bwana, kuanzia Ijumaa hii, yani tunakuletea soka ya humu nchini, barani Afrika na zaidi ya yote kutoka kule ughaibuni. Sawa sawa. Lakini yote tisa bwana, usisahau ya kwamba mashabiki pia huku nako hatujawaacha nyuma. Au sio? Zawadi hapa ni
bila
free of charge.
Yani bila malipo.
Kila shabiki atakuwa anapata zawadi. Ndio sababu nakwambia kwamba kuanzia Ijumaa hii, Dunda Dunda viwanjani ndani ya KBC Channel 1. Mambo moto moto, au sio?
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Lunchtime News. What happens when a community dejects an ex-convict? This is exactly what filmmaker Angela Wamai tries to depict in her award-winning film, Shimoni. The film focuses on Geoffrey, who is going through a post-jail trauma, with his neighbors denying him the much-needed psychosocial support. Here now is a review of the film, Shimoni.
Geoffrey, you survived 7 years of prison. You will survive freedom.
The film Shimoni follows Geoffrey, an ex-convict who struggles to reintegrate into society after he is released from prison.
He's still here.
Dispatched to the village where he grew up, Geoffrey, who was put away for murder, must begin to face head-on the demons of his past.
I hate you so much! I hate you!
With no resources, he's left dependent on the church for his survival.
Ungetuliza kwanza kama tunataka muragani hapa.
Built on the secrets and things that we keep to ourselves, the movie uses the character Geoffrey to demonstrate how such secrets gradually consume our lives.
Initial idea of Shimoni was I was watching something, and then I got this image in my head of a woman holding like a paper that was burning, and she was not letting it go. So I was like, this is very strange. Why isn't this young woman letting this paper that's on fire go? So I started thinking about this image and thinking about what just trying to understand what I was seeing. And then I started thinking about danger, the danger that we usually have or is existing in our lives, or we can't really avoid it. So then I started thinking about secrets. It was such a long journey. Started thinking about secrets and how secrets consume societies and people, and that eventually brought me to the story of Shimoni, which is the story of a man who has left a prison but has to confront another prison and has to sort of break himself free out of this quote-unquote metaphorical prison, this prison that's unseen.
Shot and directed by Angela Wamai and produced by Wangeshi Ngugi, Shimoni features Justin Mirichi as the lead character, alongside Muthoni Gadesha, Sam Senjan, Vivian Omboi, among others.
We just pretty much gave the casting brief to the casting director, and then he reached out to some of the people that we were interested in working with on the project, and then that's how we got our cast. Our lead actor is one who came in pretty late. His name is Justin Mirichi, and everybody else sort of fell into character, and we loved them when we met them the first time.
Being her debut feature film as a director, Angela notes it was not easy transitioning from a film editor to directing. However, the film has bagged several awards, including a bronze medal at the 28th edition of FESPACO Film Festival in Burkina Faso.
First, it won at the Luxor African Film Festival. It won the Golden Award for the long films competition, which was a super surprise because I don't think any other Kenyan film has won that that award. And then we went to FESPACO and we got the Etalon de Bronze, which was phenomenal because I was hoping maybe we can get one of the best script, best camera. I was hoping one of those others. So when they said the Etalon de Bronze, I was totally floored. I couldn't believe it. One, because I really do have a lot of respect for FESPACO and what FESPACO has been doing in the African film space. I mean, it has been in existence for so long, and it has, Semben, godfathers of African cinema have won those awards. So I was like, wow, it was a really big deal. But it was really, I think, for even just the crew and the cast, this was a labor of love. It was true labor of love.
Mr. Englishman.
Starting this May, we'll be showing at Unseen Cinema in Kilimani every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we have a total of 16 screenings. Please, show up and let's talk. And in fact, on the 5th of May, we'll have another Q&A, so people can come and also we'll have a conversation about the film.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
All right, let's take a look at the day's business. Now, the proposed 15% withholding tax on digital content creators and service providers might impede the growth of the digital economy and increase offshore outsourced demand for freelancers by multinationals. Kenya Private Sector Alliance Director for Ajira Youth Employment, Dr. Ehud Gashugu, says global service outsourcing for Kenyan digital labor has been growing at the rate of 20%. But this could slow down without a flexible policy and tax framework for those seeking online employment.
A typical Kenyan business could potentially save over 70% of its operational costs through outsourcing. This is especially with the increase in digitization and automation of services, as business process outsourcing is projected to grow to 10% by the year 2030. The Kenya Private Sector Alliance, however, says supply-side bottlenecks could emerge from an unstable policy and taxation system as the online job market continues to be lucrative for the youth.
Payment of tax for everyone is important. We need to have many actors contributing to the fiscal development of the country. However, I also think that looking at the growing new opportunities, it's important to make sure that the tax policies are also responsive to the needs to be able to protect such new industries, such new opportunities that could tremendously provide opportunities for young people.
I think it's a chicken and an egg. We do need the taxes as a country for economic development and fiscal, for all of us to be fiscally responsible. So whether that's BPOs, that's startups, but I do believe that there can be tax incentives that the government sets up.
He says the digital economy is ever-changing and the regulatory environment must transform with it to maintain demand for Kenyan digital labor.
In terms of new enterprise growth, but also when we move to scale, there is also this marginal impact that comes with what we call volume. So I think as the country grows, we'll continue to receive, such, interesting policies. But it's good that we all, bear the responsibility of being able to be an inclusive society by contributing through some of these policies.
When you talk about what policies can be made more enabling, for young people to access the tool of work, which is the laptop or the computers or the phones, is perhaps considering incentives or reducing some of those taxes that make it very expensive for a young person in West Pokot or in Kisumu or in whichever part of this country to access this tool that can then leapfrog them and help them overcome their peculiar circumstances.
He says revenue collection can be increased by expanding online work opportunities. Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, Safaricom's full-year profit has dipped for the third year in a row, registering a 22.2% reduction to 52.5 billion shillings. CEO Peter Ndegwa blamed the reduced profits to high costs incurred in setting up the subsidiary in Ethiopia, as well as reduced mobile termination rate that affected voice revenue. The telco that has secured a mobile money license for Ethiopia has proposed to pay 62 cents per share as the final dividend.
Safaricom has over the last 3 years been posting reduced full-year profits. In 2021, the profit dipped 6.8%. Last year, it reduced 1.7%. And this year, the telco says its full-year profit is down 22.2%. This time round, the telco says huge investments incurred on setting up the subsidiary in Ethiopia was the main reason for reduced profits from 67.4 billion shillings to 52.8 billion shillings.
Capital expenditure for Ethiopia business came in lower than guidance due to a late startup and slowdown in site rollout, closing at 4 billion shillings lower than our guidance.
Safaricom says operational costs increased by 34.2% after spending 55.77 billion shillings in rolling out operations in Ethiopia 7 months ago.
And that will give us quite a bit of scale in our ability to get what is called contiguous coverage for our customers and be able to overlay all the solutions, including mobile financial services.
During the year, revenue grew 4.3% to 310 billion shillings, powered by M-Pesa, that netted 117.19 billion shillings.
And most importantly, mobile termination rate change that came into effect from 1st of August, impacting our top line revenue to the tune of 2 billion Kenya shilling. This actually translates to 3 billion top line hit on an annualized basis.
However, voice revenue dropped at 2.6% to 81.1 billion shillings after reviewed downwards of the mobile termination rate.
The traditional business, which is to be the voice and messaging, as you have seen before in our presentation, in our results release, this revenue stream is under pressure and has remained under pressure for a long time.
The telco has proposed a final dividend of 62 cents per share, which in addition to the interim dividend will push the total dividend payout for the year to 1 shilling and 20 cents per share. Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
And SACCOs should reposition themselves to offer affordable credit to Kenyans as the government plans to leverage the cooperative movement to lend registered groups. Cooperatives and Small Enterprises Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui says the government is working closely with the players in the cooperative movement on ways to grow membership and foster innovation to enhance productivity.
Cooperatives and Small Enterprises Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui was in Mombasa to officiate the rebrand of Port SACCO, which was formerly known as Mombasa Port SACCO, as part of its strategic growth plan to empower members, drive financial inclusion, and expand its national footprint.
This is to assure members that a shilling in a SACCO is as safe as a shilling in a bank. This guarantee is intended to secure members.
He asked SACCOs to reposition themselves to offer financial services to Kenyans, leveraging on shared services and a central liquidity facility.
The third policy and legal initiative the ministry is pushing is to support establishment of central liquidity and shared services facility to enable SACCOs participate in the national payment system and facilitate inter-SACCO lending.
Port Sacco CEO says the relaunch was part of Sacco's commitment to expand beyond Mombasa in its diversification strategy.
And our customers are over 11,000 members who have been our advocates, taking every opportunity to share their great experience with us and those around them. The employees have been instrumental in reaching out, recruiting, and retaining our diverse and inclusive membership.
The cooperative movement in Kenya has 1.5 trillion shillings in assets and 1 trillion shillings in members' deposits. Pauline Kihali for Lunchtime News.
And the Rugu Tea Factory is set to become the latest producer of orthodox tea. Kenya Tea Development Agency chairperson David Ichoho says the 130 million shillings facility is part of plans to diversify to other high-value tea amid falling prices of black tea in the global market.
Crisis in Pakistan and Egypt, Kenya's key traditional black tea market has drastically affected earnings, which dropped by 5 billion shillings in February as the two nations grappled with foreign currency crisis. To reduce dependence on traditional markets, Kenya has been pushing for production of orthodox tea. The Kenya Tea Development Agency has invested 130 million shillings in construction of an orthodox tea factory at Ndarogu in Kiambu County.
Commence this project of orthodox, and we are here to hand over the site to the engineers of civil work and steel work who are supposed to commence the work starting today, and the project will take around 5 months.
The facility will be the agency's 11th specialty tea factory.
The orthodox is able to fetch more money in the market, up to $4, up to $6 and $7, based on the grades, which is relatively high, apart from the $3 we get from city.
Ichoho expects that with the onset of the long rains, tea production is expected to increase.
Production for the last month that we have closed, we produced at 117 million kilos. And we have already paid the farmers for money amounting to 2.4 billion. That money was released on Monday, and they have already reached the bank accounts, and farmers are enjoying their money.
KTDA has been seeking 800 million shillings to establish orthodox lines in various factories across the country. Benson Droba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Old Mutual Life Assurance Kenya Limited has bounced back to profitability, posting 436 million shillings in full-year pre-tax profit, up from a loss of 214 million shillings registered during a similar period in 2021.
Old Mutual Life Assurance Kenya Limited attributes the 307% growth in profits to fixing the basics such as strategic partnerships and growth in its different segments, including corporate business. The firm says corporate business grew by 71%, retail business increased 45%, and pension business that grew by 7%.
We've done a lot of fixing internally, our control environments and just controls in what kind of claims that we pay, our customer servicing touch points, our communication touch points, the turnarounds on claim settlements. Are customers happy? Do we keep to our promise of when do we make the payments? Is it within our stipulated charter of customer servicing?
Old Mutual Life Assurance Kenya officials say the business is fairly capitalized with assets of about 29 billion shillings and a capital adequacy ratio of 172%.
Looking at giving customers an enablement, digital enablement to then have interactions with our systems on, their policy statuses, queries on, how that is doing, capabilities of claim notifications, faster claim, settlements whenever, as and when that, that happens. A very refreshed customer, servicing.
With a keen focus on the SME and corporate sector, he says the firm plans to focus on integrating financial services within the group to leverage on the other subsidiaries to grow the customer base and market share. The firm says its growth written premiums increased to 32 billion shillings from 26.7 billion shillings in 2021, driven by short-term business. Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
NCBA Bank and Strathmore Business School have sealed a deal that will provide enhanced support and resources to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Here is Nuta Mukami with the details.
The partnership is set to create an enabling environment that will foster sustainable growth and improve productivity.
This partnership brings together our institutional capacity to develop entrepreneurs. As they grow, NCBA is then going to be able to service their needs. They will grow more, and there are certain indicators we are looking out for. The growth of those businesses, the employment they will generate, and increased access to finance.
Additionally, small businesses will be trained on skills and knowledge they will need to navigate the complexities of their businesses.
The idea here is to expand horizons, as I said. An SME often has dreams about growing to other parts of Kenya, to other parts of Africa. Platforms and exposures like this create opportunities for them to see how other people are doing businesses, technologies they can buy, connections that they can create, new markets that they can explore.
Stakeholders say they are committed to develop and implement measures that can help small businesses overcome the financing challenges. In addition to the collaboration with Strathmore Business School, NCBA says they will be rolling out a learning management system training platform exclusively for small business customers that will offer a variety of training modules, webinars and resources to help them enhance their business skills, financial management and overall competitiveness in the market.
And in sports, Dashing Dolphins Swim Club are the overall winners of the inaugural Kiambu Age Group Invitational Swimming Championship held at the M-Pesa Academy. Dashing Dolphins Swim Club bagged 74 medals, 45 gold, 18 silver and 11 bronze to win the title. Super Marlins Swim Club finished second with 43 gold, 34 silver and 21 bronze medals, while Aga Khan Academy Nairobi settled for third position with 18 gold, 21 silver and 34 bronze medals. Meanwhile, Super Marlins Swim Club and Dashing Dolphins Swim Club won the men and women's titles respectively. Over 100 swimmers took part in the championship. And in the Champions League, Inter Milan took a big step towards reaching the Champions League final as they beat City rivals AC Milan 2-0 in a thrilling Milan derby at San Siro Stadium. Meanwhile, in the Europa League, as Roma boss Jose Mourinho is relishing a reunion with Bayer Leverkusen boss Xabi Alonso when the two sides meet in their Europa League semi-final first leg tonight.
To reach the final, where they will face either Manchester City or Real Madrid when the two sides meet again at San Siro for the second leg on Tuesday, 16th May. Meanwhile, in the Europa League, AS Roma boss Jose Mourinho is relishing a reunion with Bayer Leverkusen boss Xabi Alonso when the two sides meet in their Europa League semi-final first leg tonight.
Stephen Curry led with 27 points as the Golden State Warriors kept their hopes of reaching the Western Conference Finals alive with victory over the Los Angeles Lakers in San Francisco. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference semi-finals, the New York Knicks registered a 112-103 win over the Miami Heat at Madison Square Garden.
The defending NBA champions won 121-106 to narrow their deficit in the best of 7 semifinals to 3-2.
Draymond Green, 31% three-point shooter in the regular season. He sticks one.
The Lakers, seeded 7th, have another opportunity to progress to the conference finals on Friday in Los Angeles.
Over to Draymond Green.
However, they could be without star center Anthony Davis after he was accidentally struck on the head by Golden State's Kevin Looney and immediately taken off court. LeBron James led the Lakers with 25 points and matched Davis with a team-high 9 rebounds against the Warriors, who are seeking a 20th successive playoff series win against Western competition.
Warriors by 8 with the ball. Curry lets it fly. It's good.
Also in the Eastern Conference semifinals, the New York Knicks registered 112-103 win over the Miami Heat at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks are aiming to reach their first conference final since 2000.
The lead is down to 7 for the Knicks. Brunson needs some help. Hart thought of...
And at 53 minutes past the hour, we bring lunchtime news to a close, but we do appreciate your company and your interaction on Facebook. I see Geoffrey Osoro, Nalubega Fatma, King Francis Njoroge, Den254, Ali Hamza, and so much more. We appreciate your feedback and your interaction. I am Nissie Imani. Brian Muraru has been our sign language interpreter this afternoon. Good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Ndugu yangu, kweli wewe wathamini utu.
Na hapa kwa Mungu leo labda asije.
Ni mangapi wewe umenisaidia?
Usifatane na watu ambao kwamba hawana tabia njema.
Mwenye leo na alikuwa biriani kwa kina Sombwana na atakwenda kula na kete na wapikia nyinyi.
Tulipoingia kwao, mamake alianza kumkaripia na kumpiga kama punda.
Ninachokitaka pesa zangu.
Pesa? Yaani amekuja kula kwetu ndio maana akapigwa namna hii.
Mambo yote mwachie Mungu.
Pumbavu wewe. Alokutuma wewe hujaniamsha hapa nani?
Kuanzia leo usijaribu kuniita kwa kesi za kipumbavu.
Drinka. Mwenyewe na mikono yangu naweza kwenda kutia hizo nguo katika maji.
Basi zaeni wenu. Mwale mtakavo.
Narudi kwako Allah, narudi kwako Allah, narudi kwako Allah.
Tafuta elimu hata ikitubidi twende katika nchi ya mbali kwa kutafuta elimu.
Mwenyezi Mungu amekumba wewe, amekupatia riziki, oxygen, neema, afya, maji, anakuletea mvua. Mwenyezi Mungu amekupatia neema, wa in ta'uddu ni'matallahi la tuhsuha wa ma bikum min ni'matin fa min Allah. Chochote katika neema mko nacho ni kutoka kwa Allah. Halafu uende ukaabudie mawe, Mungu atakubali.
Heart of a Muslim, well to be part of Islam. The heart of a Muslim, united we will always stand.
Tunaweza mchunguza.
Me and you.
For J&J.
Bari boss. Mzuri, unaona umeanza kazi mapema eh?
I have a good feeling about this one, eh? Usijaribu kumweka kwa mfuko.
Alafu?
That's all you need to know. No more questions.
We will be fine, my love.
Why didn't you ask for me?
be angry with me.
Don't say that.
How can I help?
Not posting anything on social media without asking me.